Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Augusto Argandoña Fine Arts. Anytime in the course of this narrated tutorial, you can click on the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. Also, I would appreciate your comments in regards to this video, this tutorial, or for that matter, any of the other tutorials in my channel. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank you for sending me your comments. I appreciate them very much. I respond them as promptly as I can. If I don't respond right away, there will be a response in short period of time. This tutorial is about how to paint a very quick watercolor. It is going to be one in my series of 20-minute watercolors. It's a very simple image. I took the photograph at the Mayaca River State Park here in the Sarasota, Florida area. It's a very beautiful park, very tropical and very wild. There's pretty large alligators there and all the type of tropical wildlife. Anyway, that's what I'm gonna paint, and I'm gonna paint it with a stormy sky, because when I was taking the photograph, it was there was a rain coming up, and the sky looked very menacing, and I thought, this would make a really good watercolor. So I snapped the picture, and here I am going to be painting it. So obviously, because of all the introduction that I'm doing, I'm not taking the 20-minute time yet. The 20-minute will start when I start using my brush. So without much ado, I'm going to go ahead and do this tutorial. I'm going to start by adding quite a bit of water to the sky, because it's going to be very stormy looking. So I'm going to bring quite a bit of water to the sky, like this. Go over some of the areas where this vegetation will be also. Anytime you want to paint a very stormy sky, always make sure that you have enough water on the paper. It's very important to do that. Okay, so I'm going to continue adding the water here, and making sure that every area of the paper in the sky area is covered with water. So I'm going to keep doing that. All right, so now I'm going to start making the combinations of colors. I'm going to use some burnt sienna and ultramarine blue, primarily the ultramarine blue. It's going to be very dark. Very dark color here. Okay, so on that very wet sky area, I'm going to start doing the very dark clouds. My paper is at about a 15-degree angle, so I'm relying on gravity to move some of these colors too. And like that. Very dark. I'm going to add a little bit more burnt sienna into this area, kind of warm up that area a little bit. And I'm going to add a little bit more water to my brush, and I come over here, see where the paper, the water is moving. That's good. I'm going to just put a little bit of a lighter color over here, like that. Leave a little bit of white there, A little bit more of that color over here too, like that. And I'm going to bring a little bit more ultramarine, make it a little darker, especially in this area. And that sky is pretty much done. I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to clean my brush really good, and I'm going to bring in a little bit of cerulean blue with a little bit of cobalt blue, very light, into this distant area. Very light, because this is the area where the stormy clouds hadn't reached yet. So, and I'm going to put a little bit of that there too. Maybe over here, a little bit of the blue, just showing. That's about it. I'm going to bring it over here. This is going to dry very light, so I'm going to keep it just like that. So while that's drying, I'm going to add water to the foreground where the lake is. Quite a bit of water here too. And a little bit more. All right. Now I'm going to bring a little bit of cobalt blue with that cerulean blue and put a little bit of that over here. Not too much, just a few areas, just an indication of that. And then I'm going to come back with the same colors that I used for the sky, the burnt sienna and the ultramarine blue. Mostly the ultramarine blue. And this area, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of those colors, the reflection from the sky. Get rid of that ultramarine there, like that. And over here, there will be much darker also. More ultramarine, a little bit more burnt sienna. And I'm going to come over here, and this is going to be much darker. The paper is beginning to dry, so I got to work kind of fast here. There we are. Yeah, like that. I'm going to leave that alone. Bring a little bit more of the burnt sienna in this area. There, like that. Maybe a little touch of that over here too. There, just kind of warm it up a little bit. And leave it like the way it is. Get rid of this white over here. There, like that. Okay, while that's drying, I'm going to change brushes to a round brush, and we'll test this area. Okay, I'm going to bring some raw sienna. A little bit of aureolin yellow and cerulean blue. And come over here and do this grassy area. There, like that. Change to ultramarine with that raw sienna. And come over here and do this other area. A little darker maybe, like that. Over here, I'm going to also bring a little bit more aureolin with that ultramarine. And a little bit of the green in this area, just a few indications of that. The grasses being a little bit greener. Also going to bring in a little bit of burnt sienna into that too. Create that little open area of water there like that. And before the paper dries on the sky area, I'm going to bring in also more raw sienna, but I'm going to test this paper here. It's still kind of damp, which is what I want to do. And I'm going to start doing the vegetation, the trees, into the distance, like that. Bring a little bit more of the raw sienna. This time I'm going to bring in some undersea green with that raw sienna, and start adding a little bit of the darker trees, leaving some white area, light areas too, like that, on that, all of that on that wet paper. Okay, add a little bit more water to my brush, a little bit more of the raw sienna, and come over here and do this line of trees. There were some palm trees here too, but I'm going to do those a little later. Yeah, like that. A little bit more of the undersea green with the raw sienna. I'm also going to bring in some sepia into that. And bring it right up to the edge. Combine it with that grassy area in front. Start doing some of the palm trees. Like that. Maybe another one over here. And I'm also going to bring in some Payne's gray with the undersea green. Darken this area a little bit more. Get another layer of that vegetation where the paper is still, it's no longer wet, it's damp, but still everything is kind of soft, which is the way I want it. Bring a few little trees into the upper area like that. A little bit more sepia and Payne's gray. Continue building up this layer of darker trees in this jungle. I'm going to add a little bit of the darker here too. There we are. Being a little darker, get another layer of low bushes or something like that here. And like that. And then a little bit more detail for some of these very light, these palm trees. Now I'm gonna give it a base to this line of trees in the distance. There, like that. There. Okay. Let that dry. Okay, let's change brushes to smaller brush and do some of the palm trees here. The paper is still wet, I'm gonna wait for that. But in the meantime, this paper over here is almost dry. So I'm gonna bring in some water. There, like that. To this area. And lightly touch the paper. I'm not rubbing it in because I don't want this pigment to be removed. It's a really nice sky area, reflections from the sky over here. So, right, so with that, I'm going to bring a little bit more aureole and yellow with the raw sienna. Mostly the raw sienna and some of the undersea green. And I'm going to tilt the paper slightly, and on that wet paper, I'm going to drop in some of these colors. And let gravity take care of these reflections. Come over here. Like that. I'm going to start darkening that area too. With the same colors, but much darker in this area. Tilt the paper and let gravity take care of it, of these reflections. Yeah, like that. A little darker areas over here. Barely touch the paper. There. A little bit more of the raw sienna over here. There, like that. Okay. And now I'm going to bring a little bit more of the raw sienna here too. Excuse me. Okay, bring some of these reflections right on into the paper where the paper is almost dry, like that. Not much. And I'm gonna clean my brush. I'm gonna let that dry, and while that's drying, I'm gonna get some sepia. I'm going to do this palm tree trunks. Like that. And also do the reflections of some of these palm trees over here too. Oh, I'm going to just leave it like that. And then I'm going to take my flat brush again, remove most of the moisture from the flat brush, get some of this gray that I have in my palette from the sky colors, and come over here and do a little bit of the movement in the water. Not too much. It's kind of tranquil. Okay, but just give an indication of, very faint indication of movement in the water. Yeah, that's about it. Like I said, not much. I'm gonna darken this base a little bit more. There. There, I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm gonna get some raw sienna with an undersea green. I'm gonna separate the bristles in my flat brush like that and do just a few indications of grasses in the edge. Not much. Get rid of some of those white areas and a little bit of treatment on that grassy area, and clean my brush, and that's it. 20 minutes. Stormy afternoon at Mayaca River State Park here in Sarasota. I'm going to remove this tape. I'm going to bring a dark board. I still have 2 more minutes. Remove this tape. Bring the dark board, and you're going to see what this looks like on that dark board. Here comes the dark board. I will minimize it. And there he is. 20-minute watercolor. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this painting. And please visit my website at aafinearts.com, where you will see information about my virtual classes, selection of my paintings and prints. And please send me your comments. Subscribe to my channel and send me your comments about this video, or for that matter, any of the other videos in my channel. Until next time.